So this is how it goes. You come to college, you have your major, you're set, you know exactly what you're going to do with your career, and you're ready to move. But then something suddenly happens, or maybe it happens over time, that makes you unhappy. Something is wrong with what you're doing. The classes don't feel right, the tests don't feel right, you feel like you're working a little bit harder than you need to for all of the wrong reasons. And so I would ask you then, what are you going to do about it? Personally, I think you need to change your major. And to do that, there are a few things that you need to consider. And that first one is, why do you want to change your major? What is it? Is it the current major that you don't like? Is it something that someone told you to do that you never had any interest in? Or is there a new major that you discovered or a friend told you about that is making you pretty curious and you feel like it's more interesting to you? Or with your current major, is it the tests? Are the tests too demanding? Is the work too difficult for you? Are there specific classes that you just can't seem to get past? Is it really impacting your personal life? Is it impacting your work schedule? Is it really just kind of derailing those plans that you had for college? Now, the next thing I would ask you is, what are you changing to? Are you changing to a major that's pretty similar to what you're currently in? For example, if you were to be a psychology major, are you switching over to a sociology major or a social science related major? Or are you going completely opposite? Are you currently an English major and you decided that medical school is for you and you are going to major in biology? Now you can do that, but the question is have you taken the classes that you need to take for the biology degree? Now what I mean by that is if you're taking all of these English courses, chances are you're not taking a lot of the biology courses that are prerequisites for those upper division biology specific courses. So this could mean having to essentially start over once you switch majors and taking more of those science courses, which could put you behind. And this could add semesters and even years to your college career. So that's one thing to consider if you are on a tight timeline or if you are on a scholarship. And this is very similar to the next question that I would ask you is, when are you going to change your major? So much like changing from history to biology and having to essentially start over, if you are, say, a junior and you're ready to wrap up your degree and then you suddenly want to switch, a lot of the classes that you've already completed may not transfer over into that new major. And so even with that, even if they are somewhat similar majors, you still may need to essentially start over with the courses you need to take. Now, ideally, the best thing is if you switch your major in your first and your second year, because around this time, this is when you're taking a lot of those general requirement courses that a lot of the majors require. So you really haven't started down on a very specific path that would stop you from switching to multiple majors at a time. And remember, this is very common. Just about every student will change their major at one point in their college careers. So look into it. Talk to the students in the major that you're considering switching to and see what they say. Is it really what you think it is? Is it really enjoyable? Or are there things that you never thought about that they can share with you? I would also recommend talking to the faculty members and your professors in your current major and the major you want to switch into, and let them know what you're kind of thinking in terms of your career, or maybe it's even your academic performance. And so what I mean by that is if you are in a specific class and you are really struggling to get good grades on the test, you could go talk to that instructor and really have that conversation of, is this a matter of my learning ability and I need to tweak my study skills? Or is it more of a matter of maybe this content isn't for me and maybe this major just isn't for me? Now, ultimately, you want to rely on your academic advisor, and that is the person you want to go to when it is time to change. Have that conversation with your advisor as well, and they'll be able to point out a lot of things that you may not have considered, such as the nuances of the class offerings, because sometimes majors offer classes once a year. There may be a class that's offered spring only, and that has a prerequisite that you haven't taken until spring, which means you would have to wait an entire academic year just to be able to take that one course. And that can completely change your schedule and your time to graduation. And this is where your advisor can help. Another thing to consider too is cost and fees. Some programs have specific program fees, and when I say programs, I mean majors. So you could go from any sort of major into a business major, for example, and the business school at your school could charge extra just to be a business major. So this can really kind of change your plans as well. So this is where you really need to think about these questions, think deeply about what you want. Will your current major still get you to that career goal as opposed to switching? Or do you really need to make a change? And talk to these people, ask questions, do your research, and just take the time to think before you actually make that change. So let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments. And as always, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'm curious to hear what your experience has been like with changing majors. And with that, I will see you next time.